warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Rena Novita. I'm from Civil Construction to State Polytechnic of Malang. Today, I'm gonna explain about the precast concrete and in situ concrete versus cast in situ concrete. Precast concrete members which have been formed, cast and carried prior to final placement in a structure. Precast concrete provider 1. Complete thermal protection. 2. Effective rain screens. 3. Superior lifespan. 4. Numerous finish options and colors. Precast building system. Precast concrete frame. Precast concrete wall. Precast concrete floor. Precast concrete column and beams. Cast in situ concrete. Liquid material is poured in from at the building site. Cast in situ building system. Cast in situ foundation. Cast in situ wall, stretch. Cast in situ concrete has less strength as compared to precast concrete. Construction precast concrete. The concept of precast construction includes those buildings where the majority of structural components are standardized and produced in plant in a location away from the building and transported to the site for assembly. These components are manufactured by industrial method based on mass production in order to build a large number of buildings in a short time at low cost. Depending on the load-bearing structure, precast system can be divided into the following categories. 1. Large panel system. 2. Frame system. The designation large panel system refer to multi-story structure composite of large wall and floor concrete panel connected in the vertical and horizontal direction so that the wall panel enclose appropriate space for the rooms within a building. The panel form a box-like structure. Both vertical and horizontal panels resist gravity load. Wall panels are usually one story high. Horizontal floor and roof panels span either as one-way or two-way slam. When properly joined together, these horizontal elements act the diaphragm that transfer the lateral load to the walls. Depending on the construction method, these joints can be classified wet and dry. Wet joints are constructed in cast-in-place concrete poured between the precast panel. The ensure structural continuity panels are welded, looped, or otherwise connected in the joint region before the concrete is placed. The joints are constructed by bolting or welding together. Steel plates or other steel insert cast into the ends of the precast panel for this purpose. The force transfer in structures with dry joints in a complacent at the start point. Frame system. Precast frames can be constructed using either linear element for spatial beams, column sub-assemblies. The use of linear elements generally means placing the connecting face at the beam's column junction. The beams can be set on corbel at the column for ease of construction and to aid the shear transfer from the beams to the column. The beams column join up complacent in this way are hiked. Precast planks are installed in place. Preparation for casting of landing slam to precast staircase. 1. Hard slam is forcement on top of beams and support. 2. Very few lever of every plank softly at four corners and center. 3. Adjust lever of temporary support accordingly. Precast manufacturing unit in India, New Delhi, Mumbai, Indore, Ahmedabad, Nashik, Ghaziabad, Meerut, Gurgaon, Kolkata. Construction cast inside. The general process flow with cast inside. Construction start with formwork and reinforcement being prepared and iterated, both formwork and reinforcement need to be in place before any concrete related activity can begin. From the structural unit designed to support and mold freshly placed concrete will its scars and strangers. They are generally temporary, however, and are essentially designed to be left permanently in place with a structure as stay in place framework. Usually within a few days, the concrete is strong enough to support its design load and the formwork can be removed to be used elsewhere on the site. Restoring is used to replace the formwork and continue to support the concrete while construction loads are applied to it. Beams, formwork, and reinforcement. When all the formwork and reinforcement are in place, with concrete that is delivered and in place in the formwork around the reinforcement, exposed concrete surface requiring leveling and smoothing are finished and carrying begins. During carrying steps are taken to control the temperature and moisture level of concrete. One single concrete placement even typical gives rise to numerous reinforced concrete members. Something concrete is deposited in the formwork of each member individually with column, but often it is deposited monolithically. Monolithic concrete placement is when concrete is deposited in one large formwork system which is made up of several smaller formwork systems each corresponding to a different concrete member. Vibration is not used to transport the concrete within one formwork, but rather it is simply used to consolidate. Over vibration led to segregation of the concrete mix, whereas under vibration result in a honeycombed matrix. Finishing of concrete is done just after leaving while concrete is still wet and typically involves running a fluid over the surface of the concrete. The is done to remove slight infection from the surface and embed any aqueous aggregate just below the surface of the concrete. Concrete carrying is the period out time directly following concrete placement, during which freshly placed concrete strengthness and hardness. Precast concrete. 1. Precast structures can be raised, extended, and refitted internally. Structures do not need to be demolished and can simply be renovated internally, conserving resources, reducing waste and landfill. 2. Precast is easy to keep clean, requiring minimum maintenance. 3. Precast concrete can be molded into almost any form and finish. Careful design of precast concrete building increases the likelihood of raising the build over again. 4. Precast concrete doesn't shrink, distort, or move, and does not deteriorate with exposure to climatic change. 5. Being flood resistant, precast concrete does not erode or root, therefore is suitable for river and coastal barriers to protect against high tides and storm. 6. As a hardy waterproof construction method, precast concrete underground pipes transport safe, and clean water across the country. Cast in situ concrete. 1. Concrete is other and placed was needed and does not need to be trimmed or cut after installation. 2. Wastewater is frequently recycled using trunk equipped with devices that collect wastewater and return it to the drum where it can be returned to be ready mixed concrete plant for recycling. 3. Extract concrete is often returned to the ready-mix plants where it's recycled off reduced to make jersey barriers or retaining wall block so it doesn't get wasted. 4. Or it can be wasted to recycle that course aggregate. Special sheet rectangular admixture can be added to return concrete to allow for storage and future use. 5. It reduces the heat island effect when used for exposed horizontal surface. Advantages and disadvantages of precast concrete. Advantage 1. Entire building can be precast wall, floors, beams, etc. 2. High quality. 3. Flexibility in use for more durable than real masonry. 5. Optimum use of materials. 6. Protection of environment. Disadvantages 1. Very heavy members to camber in beams and column. 3. Connection may be difficult. 5. 4. Somewhat limited building design. 5. Joint between panels are often expensive and complicated. 6. Cranes are required to lift panel. Advantages and disadvantages of cast in situ concrete. Advantages 1. Limited flexibility of shape and size. 2. Wide variety of surface and texture and can be achieved. 3. Homogeneous connection. Disadvantages 1. Needed high labor and plant on site. 2. From work is time consuming. 3. Quitting contract is difficult.